Hey everybody, this is Dr. Chris Dost. Welcome to my Biblical Greek channel. Today we're going to be talking about prepositional phrases in Biblical Greek. Now before we begin talking about prepositions, we have to remember something about the case system in Greek. So I'm going to use the word Christ, Christos, to quickly remind you of the case system in Greek. So the lexical form of a noun, or the dictionary form of a noun, is the nominative case. You see next to Christos on the right, it says NMS. The N is for nominative, that's the case. M is for masculine, that's the gender. And S is for singular, which is the number. Nominative, masculine, singular. The nominative case is typically used when a noun serves as the subject of a sentence. Prepositions, however, never take their object in the nominative case. In other words, the noun that follows the preposition, what we call the object of the preposition, will never be in the nominative case. Now, if you take the lexical form Christos and you change the ending, resulting in the form Christou, that is the genitive masculine singular form, the genitive masculine singular form. And in today's lesson, we're actually going to be working with prepositions that take their object in the genitive case. For the sake of this video, it's not important that you understand the function of the genitive case in Greek. You simply need to be able to recognize it. The genitive nuance will come from the preposition itself. So we've seen the nominative masculine singular, Christos. We've seen the genitive masculine singular, Christou. And now the dative masculine singular is Christo. And in the next video, we're going to be talking about prepositions that take their object in the dative. And finally, the accusative case. Here we have the accusative masculine singular form, Christon. But as I said before, this video is going to focus strictly on prepositions that take their object in the genitive, and the only object that we're going to use today is the word for Christ, which in the genitive is Christou. And that's for the sake of consistency and because it's a very common noun in the Greek New Testament. All right, so let's get started here. So the first preposition that we're going to deal with is apa, which often means from. And so the phrase apa Christou can mean from Christ, from Christ. And we see this in Galatians 5:24, where we have katergethete apa Christou. You have been severed from Christ. You have been severed from Christ. Nothing like starting this video on a happy note. So once again, apa means from, and when apa is functioning in this way, its object, the noun that follows it, which in this case is Christ, must appear in the genitive case. And that's why we have Christou and not Christos, Christo, or Christon. So katergethete apa Christou, you have been severed from Christ. We also see apa Christou in Romans 9:3, and here the definite article appears before Christou. So if you want to be super wooden in your translation, from the Christ, which is perfectly appropriate since Christ is not Jesus' last name, most translations will leave out the definite article. But notice that the definite article also appears in the genitive. It takes its genitive form. Apa tu Christou. So both tu and Christou are genitive masculine singular forms. And it shows up another time in Revelation 5:3. Kai apa Jesu Christou. Here we have the Greek word for Jesus in there, which also appears in the genitive. Kai apa Jesu Christou, and from Jesus Christ, and from Jesus Christ. So apa, when it takes its object in the genitive, will often mean from. Now we have the preposition meta, which sometimes takes its object in the genitive, and when it does, it often means with. So meta Christou can mean with Christ. And we see this in Revelation 20 and verse 4, for instance, ebasiliusan meta tu Christou. Ebasiliusan meta tu Christou. They reigned with Christ, or they reigned with the Messiah, you could say. We have meta, followed by its object, Christou, in the genitive, and the article tu has to agree with the noun that it modifies, Christou. So once again, both tu and Christou are genitive masculine singular, with Christ. Now we have the preposition dia, which can take its object in the genitive, and dia Christou can mean through Christ. John 1:17, dia Jesu Christou egeneto. And this is part of a bigger sentence, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. So dia is the preposition. It takes its object in the genitive. That's why Jesu and Christou are in the genitive masculine singular. And then, of course, egeneto here means it came, or they came, because it's referring to grace and truth, even though it's a singular verb. Next, we have the preposition huper, huper, huper Christou, and this can mean for the sake of. So when huper has an object in the genitive, it can mean for the sake of. And we find this in 2 Corinthians 12:10. To view the entire video, please be sure to go to my website, www.learnbiblicallanguages.com. www.learnbiblicallanguages.com.